What's up, Inter fans? Welcome back to SempreInter TV, bringing you this post-Christmas episodes and happy moods, of course, thanks to Lautaro Martinez's late goal against Napoli. To everyone that celebrated it, I hope you had a sick Christmas, enjoyed time with your family and lots of food. But before the Napoli match, we played Chievo, our 1-1 draw, so I just want to touch upon that before we get started into the Napoli match. The 1-1 draw at Chievo was a very typical Inter performance, struggling to break down 11 men behind the ball, finding a goal, but still in the 91st minute managing to concede to a 38-year-old Sergio Pellissier, who manages to sneak a goal in right at the death, meaning that we didn't take the chance to further solidify our third place in the table, and bringing a lot of question marks to Spalletti and his decision making, as he was responsible for changing the setup of the team in the second half to 3 at the back or 5 at the back, as wherever you want to say it. And the usual mentality issues that we've been having over these last few seasons, which I believe Spalletti has managed to sort out, but clearly they're still reeking somewhere deep within still. But anyway, let's not dwell too much on the 1-1 draw against Chievo, because who cares now? We beat Napoli at the San Siro 1-0, and I don't think many people predicted that before the match started. So let's get into the player ratings. Of course, starting off with Batmanovic in goal, Samir Handanovic. I gave him a 6. Didn't have much to do, and what he did decently well, apart from the shot on goal at the end, which he could have maybe parried to the side rather than into the penalty box. Fortunately, Koulibaly Zamora was right there to save the day. Speaking of Koulibaly Zamora, I give him a 7. He was solid throughout the game, hardly made any mistakes, especially at the back. Wasn't really focused on going forward too much, especially as in the first half he had Callejon as a right back against him, and then Callejon moved as a winger. So he had a lot of work to cut out those Callejon runs that makes in behind. And of course he made the all-important goal line save, which saved the result for us for sure. As always, I like to rate my centre-back pairings as a pair, and once again, solid performance from both De Vrij and Skriniar, who are developing a great bromance on and off the pitch. Solid performance, clean sheet against Napoli. What more can I say? As a right back, D'Ambrosio played in place of Vershaliko, who still has some dodgy knees, and D'Ambrosio put in a decent performance, solid defensively, and got forward when needed to. Of course, lacked that final ball as he does. I'll give him a 6. Our midfield regista, the crocodile, Marcelo Brozovic, I give him a 6.5. Sprayed the ball around well, covered a lot of ground as he always does. Up next, the Professor, Borja Valero, the 33-year-old, defies age. When you see him pressing throughout the first half, he was leading the press. He presses really intensely and well. Of course, his legs always give up after about 50-55 minutes, and he's always one of the first subs. Wasn't as good on the ball as he is usually, so I'll give him a 6. Next to him, we had João Mario, who, as I said, has nailed down that spot next to him in the midfield 3, ahead of Gagliardini and Vecino, due to his technical ability and his ball carrying ability. We've seen how many times he can hold the ball and take the ball from deep within our half to the opposing half. Yes, he still lacks a shot on him and that final decision making, but right now he's oxygen in our midfield and we need him. Ivan Perisic, give him a 6. Looked like he's returning to form after scoring last week against Chievo, and even in the first half against Callejon, he looked like he was returning to best Ivan Perisic, Ivan the Terrible, with some step overs and some great crosses, but dipped really badly in the second half and was rightly subbed off. Politano on the right, not at his usual best, especially in terms of final ball. Run around a lot as he always does, but not much final product in this match. However, he was the one that got Koulibaly sent off with his run, so I still give him a 6. Up front, as always, our captain Mauro Icardi has become the complete number 9. Comes deep and plays some great balls now. It's great to see. Gets involved in the play like he never used to. This is all due to Spalletti, so credit to where credit is due. I will give him a 6.5. Our substitutes actually all managed to make an impact in the goal we scored, which is very rare, so credit to Spalletti. as he's often criticised for his substitutes, but this time they came through clutch for him. Vecino, I would give him a 5.5. Didn't really manage to make much of an impact until he made the dummy run that went on to Lautaro Martinez, who finished very nicely from the pass from Keita Balde, which was deflected. So I would give Keita Balde a 6.5 for the energy and the assist, and a 7 to Lautaro for coming through with the great finish with his left foot, weaker foot. And now moving on to the SempreInter social section, where I like to get the views of our SempreInter followers and readers, and you get to ask your questions or put your views through. So always make sure to comment on our social media handles, especially on Twitter. First up, we've got Nick Lato12, who asks, is Icardi finally developing the way we've been asking? Is this permanent, or will he return to being a poacher? Very good question, Nick. Yes, he's developing into the way that we want Icardi to play now. We can't complain anymore that he doesn't provide to the team. He doesn't provide assists or passes. He definitely does that now. His development reminds me of Harry Kane's development at Tottenham and for England. He might be to the detriment of his goals, but I think for the team this is very beneficial. And I think he won't return to being that the poacher he used to be, because I think he sees the benefit for the team in general. So I think this is going to be Icardi for the rest of his career now, unless he gets a manager who asks him to just goal hang. At Eden Dassady asks, is Jamario an improved player, or is he just reproducing his form from the 2016-2017 beginning of the season? Good question. I think Spalletti has managed to improve him. The loan spell at West Ham did him well. An intense league like the Premier League has improved his sort of decision making, although he still needs to improve. He just needs a little bit more bite in him. Like, he's got everything apart from the shooting ability and that final pass, as Renato says really well. That's all he needs to add to his game. On a final note, of course, we can't ignore the negativity surrounding Inter fans at the moment regarding the Koulibaly chants, the racist Koulibaly remarks. It's not how we want to see Italian football moving. This is not the 80s anymore. It's 2018. Things need to be changed. I hope the Serie A takes action. I hope the Lega Calcio takes action. These racists need to be removed from our stadiums. They're not allowed in our game anymore. So thank you for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Ciao.